Welcome to the channel. This is Dre, and we're here to talk about episode 4 of Wandavision. We interrupt this program. And let's interrupt this program real quick to say, make sure to subscribe. Yes, it's a scribble. Hit that big red subscribe button down below so you can be entered into a giveaway. Now that I got that out the way, let's talk about this episode of Wandavision, because this episode wasn't from Wanda and Vision's point of view no more. This was from Sword's point of view. Well, Jimmy Woo and fellow other actors that showed up in this episode. First off, we have a returning Jimmy Woo, who we haven't seen since Ant-Man and the Wasp, and we also have a returning Dr. Lewis, who we haven't seen since Thor: The Dark World. So we have a whole lot of returning characters in this episode, but we found out that Jimmy Woo is not part of Sword, but he's the FBI agent still, so it made sense with the storyline and what we find out later on in the episode. Now this episode starts back from the blip where everybody was snapped away and brought back, and Monica Rambeau was one of these people that was brought back. Monica Rambeau appears in a hospital. She apparently was there before because her mom was getting a surgery done, and when she woke up she was just lost. She was confused what was going on. Everybody was just reappearing. Everybody was blipping back in. But then she got to a counter and she was talking to the doctor, I guess the doctor that was over her mom's surgery, and she was like, "Where's my mom?" The doctor's saying that her mom passed 2 years ago. Now I know I'm not the only one that eyes watered a little bit when this scene happened and she was going crazy, confused and all that. I mean, I would be too. What was 3 years seemed like 20 minutes to her, so this was a lot to take in. Now we get our first look at a Sword facility, and Monica Rambeau is basically trying to come back home, okay? She used to be a Sword agent, so she's trying to get intel on what is exactly going on, all right? When she goes here for this little visit, she gets assigned to a certain task. Apparently there's a law or some type of rule that was made up by Monica's mom. Whenever somebody comes back from the blip, all their assignments have to be terrestrial. And Monica was upset about this, but she was like, she'll accept the task. She was put on a missing persons case, which we know what that meant, all right, because we know what's going on in the show. This was just a little backstory on how Monica ended up in the whole world of WandaVision. Okay, so we end up seeing Monica Rambeau meet up with some officers and Jimmy Woo, the returning Jimmy Woo, the FBI agent. All right, so she's asking Jimmy Woo, like, what's going on here? And he's like, it's not just a missing persons case, it's a missing town. And she's asked to go talk to the officers about it. When she goes talk to the officers like, yeah, Westview doesn't exist, all right? Westview of New Jersey does not exist. And she's confused because she's looking dead at it. So she's talking to Jimmy Woo, and Jimmy Woo's like, yeah, that's all they've been saying. And apparently the town doesn't want you to go in. So Monica Rambeau tests out this theory, okay? She sends in a little drone, a little helicopter, all right? And we believe this is the same red helicopter that was sent in, that it transformed into something else. And we see this happen a lot more through this episode. Monica then goes searching for this helicopter and is sucked into the WandaVision. After Monica Rambeau disappears, we skip to 24 hours later where we're met with Dr. Lewis, who appears for the first time in this series. And she's brought in by Sword to basically figure out what's going on here and why is everything disappearing when it goes into Westview. So she's brought in, she's doing algorithms. She asks the Sword agent to bring her an old TV, not a flat screen, an old TV, because she was getting some type of frequency from the inside of Westview and it was actually bringing up a broadcast. So we see that Sword is able to see these sitcoms just like how we see them, and they're watching them just like episodes how we're seeing them. Meanwhile, Sword is sending in different drones and stuff that's being turned into helicopters as they go into Westview. But we also see what the beekeeper was, because like we thought, this was a theory, that it was just a Sword agent in a hazmat suit, and that's what it was. The Sword agent was sent through the sewer to go into Westview from under, and when he went in, he was turned into a beekeeper. So this Sword can see all this because they're watching the shows just like how we're watching them. So at one point, Dr. Lewis is watching the episode and she's telling Jimmy Woo to basically put a broadcast through, because she was like, Wanda always ends up around the radio every episode, so we're gonna wait for that moment and we're gonna send a broadcast and see if Wanda can hear us. He sends the broadcast and basically it glitches, okay? So some glitches that we see, they don't see in the show. It just skips. So they're confused. They're like, okay, why did it just skip? They're trying to rewind, see what happened in between those two moments, and they can't find that moment. They're also figuring out every other side character that is in the show and figuring out who they are in real life. And one person was never brought up as to having a real identity, and that is Agnes. And that means Agnes is of something else, whether that's Agatha or a spawn of Mephisto. Now we go to the current day where Monica Rambeau is having an interaction with Wanda where she brought up Ultron and Pietro. And when she does this, we get an extended version of the clip that we seen from the last episode. And now Wanda is going on about that you're a trespasser, and we see her actually throw Monica out of the bubble. And at this moment, we got Jimmy Woo and Dr. Lewis watching the show currently. So they're like, what's going on? Like, it just glitched past this. We don't see her actually get thrown out in the episode. And that's how we watched the last episode. We didn't see her get thrown out. So they're confused too. And then the alarm starts to go off that she is actually being thrown out. So Jimmy Woo meets out there and we see Monica Rambeau laying out. And as the show is starting to go off, she's like, it's Wanda. It was Wanda the whole time. So this leads us to believe that Wanda might just be the one that put herself in this world. By the things we've been seeing in episode 2, 3, and 4, we are led to believe that Wanda is doing this. I think Wanda is turning evil in this. I'm just saying. And there was a moment in this where when Vision walks back in to ask what happened to Monica Rambeau, he looked dead, which made me jump. That was a jump scare for me. Like, they really did that one. Because they showed Vision from when he got his mind stone torn out from Thanos. That dead body from after that was there. So it looks like whatever Wanda brings in there either comes to life and takes a new form. It does all that, and it looks like she's just putting that picture on Vision, and Vision's dead body is really the thing walking around, which is very creepy. So if she's not using her imagination to cover up Vision's wounds, imagine a dead Vision walking around. I don't want to picture that. But that was a scary moment in the episode, so I feel like Wanda is turning to the dark side. I'm led to believe that. I wonder if y'all believe in that too, because after this episode, like, I was mad when the episode ended because I'm like, okay, we need to continue this. Monica Rambeau's out of the bubble. What is she about to say? What is she gonna give Jimmy Woo? What are they gonna do? What is their plan to take down Wanda? Or is there still a sinister force over this? Because we still have an unknown secret identity for Agnes. So we gotta see where this goes. This episode really gave us a lot of answers, but at the same time, they gave us some more questions, because now we know Agnes is not one of these characters that's been casted. She is actually something else. And we know that Wanda is kind of on the edge because she doesn't want anything to do with the real reality. So did she put herself in this? Did she make a deal with the devil, Mephisto? There's a lot of questions, all right? Because she could be working with Mephisto at this point. We could believe that. Or she could be working with something else, whatever put her here, whatever that can be. She could be working with them, or she probably created this herself. Leave your theories down below. Where do you think they're going with this show? Do you think Wanda is a villain? Because I'm led to believe that Wanda is a villain after this episode. So we're gonna see where it goes. But if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like the video. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe. Yes, it's subscribe. Hit that big red subscribe button. Also the bell button to be notified when I upload more videos, and you'll be entered into a giveaway. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I talk about news of Marvel, and we also talk about WWE things and other things that I'm interested in on this channel. So just make sure to join and you'll find out about all of these things. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed though. Your boy Dre is out. Splash.